This railway through the Lake District is completely gone. Yet every year thousands of people still follow its route. It once brought visitors into the heart of the lakes. Today it's a walking trail. So why was it closed? And was that a mistake? Today we're going to be walking a short section of this old railway line, starting from the old station in Keswick, and we're going to be having a look at what remains. If you want to know more about the town of Keswick, what's here, a little bit of a closer look around the station, we do have a Keswick Lost Railway Town episode. I don't know about the traffic on the roads being busy, John. This is probably one of the busiest old railway trails I've ever come across.
It's exceedingly popular. But I guess it's one of the tourist attractions. It's something to do in the town, isn't it?
Yeah. Before we get too far into this walk then, obviously we're going to be looking at what remains, as we always do. Well, let's learn a little bit about the history of this railway. The Cockermouth, Keswick and Penrith Railway was built to connect the tourism and industry of the Lake District and Cumbria with the wider railway network. The line reached Keswick in the 1860s, bringing passengers right into the heart of the lakes. And that was rather important because this wasn't just a railway for local people. It also carried the growing number of visitors coming to see the spectacular part of the country. But by the time we get to the 1960s, the railway was facing the same problem as so many others: the car. We're going to be looking at it from the point of view, was it right that this railway closed? What would be its usefulness today? But that's not taken away from some of the fantastic engineering that we're going to come across today. With
Already we're
bridges.
walking along this lovely viaducty bridgey over the River Greta, which is pretty wide.
Is that how you say that, Greta?
Must be Greta.
Greta?
I think it's Greta. Greta. Greta.
That is spectacular, isn't it?
What a sight to greet you as you pull into Keswick Station, for your week-long stay. The mountain range in the background.
Just been saying in the Lost Railway Towns episode we've just filmed that statistically Keswick is one of the wettest towns in the UK.
And literally 3 minutes into our walk, it started to track it down.
So if this railway was bringing people right into the Lake District, why did it disappear? Well, by the middle of the 20th century, the railway was fighting a battle it was never going to win. The original reason for building the line had largely disappeared. The heavy mineral traffic that had once helped pay the bills was in decline, while passengers were increasingly choosing buses and of course their own cars. The Beeching Report of 1963 recommended closing the line, and in 1966 the railway west of Keswick disappeared. But that left the 18-mile section between Keswick and Penrith. And this is where the story gets rather interesting. County Council surveys had shown that the local tourism industry was highly dependent on the railway. Despite that, approval was eventually given to close the remaining line. And the last passenger train ran on the freezing, snowy Saturday in March 1972. And that's what we're going to be walking along today. So we mentioned about car use. That's Keswick bypass just coming over the top of the railway line in front there. So everybody who arrives in Keswick has to arrive by road or by foot.
Or by foot.
Inclined.
I might have done that.
Just to play devil's advocate, even if this did have a railway line, how many people would the British public be willing to leave their cars at home?
Yeah, like we were saying, once you're here though, then you'd be stuck because you'd basically be having to. I suppose you could get buses and boats, but yeah, you haven't got that freedom.
The frequency, the reliability to rely on public transport to get around to everywhere you want to go.
I don't think so.
The tunnel just appearing in front, known now as Big Tunnel. Was that its original name?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a bit of an unimaginative name for a tunnel, that. But this tunnel looks relatively modern. You can see but it actually tells a bigger story, because this entire section was once buried. It was completely lost, and it was bored out and reopened in 2022.
Oh, okay.
Using corrugated sheeting and concrete. I think originally as a railway tunnel. It was 92 yards long. Oh yeah, it was infilled and sealed in the early 1970s. So it has been extended in its current form. It's longer than the original railway tunnel was.
Oh, right. So it is on the original course, because is that the original...
Right, so is that the original portal?
Well, I guess when we get in there, we'll have a look and see if there's any sort of change in...
It was also known Bobbin Mill Tunnel, which we can see up there. Reopened 2020, not 2022. And also as Greta Tunnel, or Brigham Tunnel as well. Couple of
Bobbin
names.
Mill.
We'll go with Bobbin Mill Tunnel.
Bobbin Mill.
And this, what we're walking on here, we're not actually at the true height of the trackbed, John.
Ah, right, okay.
It's raised up.
Yeah, you can see that with those
yeah,
recesses.
if it was a full-size recess, you'd have to fold yourself into there, wouldn't you? Yeah, it's nicely lit as well. Complements the brickwork. I have to say, John, it's a really pleasant walk so far.
Oh, it is lovely. You just got such great scenery. Got the hills.
Yeah, somewhere.
The river.
Somewhere amongst the clouds, yeah.
Got the rain.
What a trip this must have been by train, John.
Yeah, oh, amazing to come from Penrith, and then you're gradually getting closer and closer to the fells of the Lake District, and it opens out into this little, what's it, a 3 or 4 mile gorge train line. It's just amazing. It'd be a great heritage line, right?
I mean, we keep saying, should this railway have ever closed? There's lots of discussions, there's lots of campaigns over the years to try and get this railway reopened, looking at the feasibility. We'll see as we progress down this, that task is getting harder decade by decade. There's plans to build on this line closer to Penrith. We'll see in a short while the effects of Mother Nature.
Yeah, definitely. And then also just the fact now this is so popular as a railway walk, as a trail, it's like then that becomes a reason to not reopen it, basically.
A bit like the Monsell Trail.
Yeah, it's a victim of its own success.
There's some sidings just leaving here on the left-hand side. It was a bobbin mill, so this line wasn't just for tourism, it was also serving industry as well. So just after the bridge we've got, what's it called, John? Brearley Siding Halt.
Brearley Siding Halt. So there was actually, as well as the overbridge that we've just gone past, there is actually was a footbridge here, and you can see here the abutment on the left remaining. Not sure if there's anything on the right.
Oh, is that where the gate is at the top?
I assume, yeah. So you can see there's a bit of like stonework.
Yeah.
That would have come across. Well, coming down, it was a downwards angle.
How many times have we crossed this river so far, John? Is this the second or third time?
I think this is the second time, isn't it? So we crossed it once just out of Keswick station. Yeah. And then I think this is the first time out on this stretch
Look at that landslide over there.
Look at that, that's been carved out, isn't it?
I'm glad we got down to have a look at this, look, because this is, when I've seen photos of this line, this is what I picture, look, these inverted bowstring bridges. This engineering on here so far has been fantastic. I've not done every disused railway line in the UK, John. I've not come across bridges that have got the upside down bowstring like that.
Yeah, these underspans, not seen them at all, no. Really unusual, really distinctive and unique to this, well, as far as we know, unique to this line in the UK.
There will be others.
There'll probably be others.
They're very distinctive. I think they look fantastic. The thing is though, when you're walking over the top of there, you have no idea unless you start exploring underneath like this.
Yeah, exactly how beautiful it is. Big river, big views. It's like sort of cut off.
So we mentioned earlier about the impact of nature has had on this railway line, and a number of years ago, which storm was it, John? Storm Desmond?
Storm Desmond, yeah, it says here, 2015.
2015. A number of bridges were, well, basically swept away, as it says, including this one that we're about to cross over at the moment. So these aren't original railway bridges, they've just basically put footbridges in.
I mean, this one I've had to even make the bridge abutment on this side. Oh, was this milepost? Or was it a gradient?
Possibly gradient, maybe, if there's...
So you could fit them in at different angles?
Yeah. Now the path here takes a bit of a deviation away from the trackbed, look, because looks like we've got a couple of missing bridges. So is this the other bridge with the storm damage further on in front?
I don't know.
This is certainly a missing deck, isn't it, off this? I suppose it would have been a farm crossing. Oh, hello. The embankment is completely washed away here, look. The river's just completely encroached onto the line of the railway land here. So we've been literally sat in the middle of the river, John.
It's the power of nature.
I thought it was a missing bridge, perhaps, or something like that, but no, it's just...
it's missing embankment,
yeah.
It's chewed out.
Look at that, we get a much better view from up here, look. We can see... Can you see the trackbed and that embankment just further up?
So that just gives you yet another challenge into putting a railway back in place.
It's weird though, John. We were high above the river not too long ago, and look, now this river's almost level with us. And this is where the story takes a bit of a turn. The railway may have closed in 1972, but nature wasn't finished with it. When Storm Desmond hit Cumbria in 2015, several bridges along this route were damaged or destroyed, and the railway path itself was badly affected. It eventually took almost £8 million to restore the trail, which does make you wonder, if the railway had survived until today, would we actually have rebuilt it?
Obviously it's that important to the local tourism trade.
It says here $267,000 to build the railway in the 1860s.
If you compare that, like in today's money, 33 million versus 8 million to repair just a very small part of it.
That's incredibly cheap. That's what cost that to build a mile these days.
I think you're right.
Wow, look at this
Oh
one.
God, look at that. Railway history destroyed. So 3 bridges are upright bowstrings, 4 in the gorge are inverted, with the curved beam obviously below the deck. It's a very picturesque gorge. Putting the bow underneath would have retained the views on this very scenic route.
Ah, that explains it then.
Does that make sense?
So it wasn't an engineering decision, it was cosmetic.
Yeah.
Another replacement bridge. So Dr. Beeching, even though Dr. Beeching didn't kill off this part of this railway line, would it have been closed by nature decades later?
Quite possibly, yeah, actually, yeah. Had it survived past 1972, then by 2015 it would have had some severe damage with millions to repair it. Would they have repaired it?
A quarter. What's it, a quarter of a mile from? And another river crossing. We've not been filming every single river crossing, John, but have you been keeping count?
I've now lost count. I don't know, 7 or 8? 7 perhaps? I don't know.
Oh, it's one of the inverted ones.
Yeah, lovely.
So I'm really amazed that I wasn't expecting it to be, for aesthetic reasons, that they built them like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there was no particular cost difference. Beautiful.
This is the second tunnel that we'll see today. Bordering on the phrase tunnel though, I think. I can hear Phil in my head now.
Yeah, what's the definition of a tunnel? Well, it's not a bridge, is it, really?
I've been through longer bridges.
I think it truly is a tunnel.
But it's just literally just going under this little rocky outcrop.
Yeah, basically, they just decided that was too hard to get rid of the rest of that rock.
I wonder why they've not just blasted out the cutting.
Perhaps they got to this point and they're like, we can't afford any more dynamite, any more labour on it.
It's a wet tunnel as well.
Yeah, we're getting straight through this.
I've done some absolutely beautiful railways in my time making these videos, you know, ones in Wales, obviously with the ones in Derbyshire, we're spoiled for choice around our way in Derbyshire. Scotland, some of the ones there just mind-blowingly beautiful. This one is up there. It's completely,
wow,
it's completely gone above my expectations for this, John, just as how nice this is as a walk and how nice it would have been as a railway.
Oh, it's a railway, it'd been awesome. I mean, it's like 30 miles from like Cockermouth to Penrith, and I think it could have rivaled the Settled Calais Rail in terms of this beauty factor.
I think it's more. It's more beautiful. I mean, you've got your open views on the Settled Carlisle line, and your engineering marvels, the variation and I think this is more skilled.
Well, crossing this river so many times, all the hills, the fells you see.
And they don't make the decision on whether or not they close the railway on how scenic it is. I know that, but
well, nowadays they might. It's one. Is it just a longer span? Because it's offset. Perhaps.
Maybe it's because it's offset. Yeah, possibly. I'm just debating why this one's not an inverted girder span as opposed to what we've seen on some of them so far. Are these original, like, permanent way?
I think there must
buildings?
be, particularly the fact it's got a fireplace in it.
Let's have a look in. Fetch the torch.
It's got a fireplace, must be surely.
I think it is, you know.
And look at that, is that a piece of rail as a lintel?
Reused piece of rail above the fireplace. Right. So this is actually on the maps?
Yeah, it's on the maps, yeah, just a very little square.
We've spent quite a lot of this walk talking about the railways. So let's just slow down for a minute. Because whatever you think about reopening the line, there's no denying that this is a spectacular place to travel through. And today, the river is going to provide most of that soundtrack. The new and the old. So I'm assuming the new road, the new A66, John, is severing this railway.
Yes, it does indeed. So we're going to have to cross the A66 and continue on the other side.
Walk past that and miss that, couldn't you?
What a spot.
Telegraph pole there, still got the attentioner attached.
The line must have just gone straight. This must be a bridge here, mustn't it, surely, before then?
Yeah, I would have thought there would have been a bridge.
Infield bridge.
So this is the other side of the A66, and we're rejoining the trackbed now.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a bridge, but it's just not there anymore.
Bit of a downgraded path on this side. It's no bad thing, because it's a bit quieter, a bit more rustic, a little less sanitised look. Straight onto an embankment. Not one for admiring graffiti and tagging like this, but 1985, Y2K, is that 1982?
So this is the River Glendamachin.
It's the what? Sorry, John?
River Glendamachin, I believe, and that converges with another river. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but that's coming in from that way, under that stone bridge to form the River Greta. But this is obviously a different style of bridge.
I don't know if admiring is the word, but I'm just looking at the different dates on the graffiti. Rather than just doing a tag look, they've actually wrote the name and then the year. Look how much it widens out here, both sides. So the sidings on the map is there?
Yeah, either side. Winging the main line that would have gone straight over there.
I'd have thought there'd be holding sidings or something related to the station then, John.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And the station itself had more sidings and cattle pens and things.
We're approaching Threlkeld. Threlkeld. We had some discussion on how the pronunciation was on this. I was going to say something like Threlkeld.
I think that's how the locals, some dialects do pronounce it like that, so.
But apparently it's Threlkeld, not called Keld. There's maybe different ways of saying it depending on where you're from. Threlkeld, Threlkeld. See how wide this bridge is, look, where it's been single track majority of the way here. Obviously got the sidings and the lines widening out for the station here. That's not a bad view, is it, in front there? It's not the view that they get from the station. So according to the maps, we are right on the platform here. So it looks like it was an island platform. I think that's the platform edge there, John. I assume that these stones here were the platform edgings.
It's really hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think we're the platform in the middle here. You see the platform edging on the other side? So it looks like from the maps it was an island platform. So here's the other. We've been walking along it. I wasn't quite sure because it's been like it had been moved. It threw me off, to be honest, John, because I did see a photo online of this station where the end of the island platform was clearly visible.
Right.
It just looks so different.
Yeah, it's like, well, this concrete, is this actually...
It's got to be platform edgings. It's the same stones as that. We've been walking along it on the path.
I think it's original.
It's now like a depot for the Lakes Authority, isn't it?
Mm.
Here's where we're walking as far of today. So this is just by what's now the Threlkeld mining. We can see on the old maps here quite an interesting area here. We have the Threlkeld granite concrete paving works, and then it looks like we had a railway or an incline or a tramway or something up to the granite quarries. Yeah, I didn't know whether this is where honestly, I've not looked it up. I don't know if it's a tramway or a railway. I wonder if this was some kind of transshipping point.
Man, look at that platform thing.
That's the steps, John. They're bricked off these days. And there was the rows of terraced houses just up the top there. We're assuming, I can't see any labels on those on the old maps, assuming there was a mining related. I don't know if this is a loading platform for the siding or something. Because there's the mills just there, look, and you see them the other side, but this goes on a long, long way, and we can see sidings on the maps. So that looks like the end of the sidings for that mill, and that's the end of our journey today. That's as far as we're going to walk down this railway line from Keswick to Threlkeld. I'll show you this bridge just before we finish. It's very interesting. Look at that. It's a stone bridge, but it's got a steel girder. It's got some writing on there that I can't quite make out. Well, that's the trackbed. That's looking over towards, ultimately, Penrith. Shame it's not a continuous path, this, John.
That's a lovely bit of trackbed there, isn't it? Like, really quite raw.
We've done such a good job at that section from Keswick up to the A66.
Yeah, there's plenty more hills that way to see and like lovely views so it's a shame.
And this isn't just a railway that people occasionally talk about reopening. There have been serious attempts to look at whether a modern railway could work here again. The line has even appeared in proposals for reopening Britain's lost railways, but every year that passes seems to make this idea a little more complicated. Bridges have been rebuilt for walkers and cyclists, parts of the old route have changed, and even a bid for funding to investigate reinstatement didn't make it through. So for now, the railway remains exactly what we've been walking along today, a railway path. So was closing this railway a mistake? I'm honestly not sure. Standing here today with the traffic heading into the lakes, thousands of people using this path, and the river still doing its best to rearrange the landscape, it's easy to imagine that a railway here could be useful. But then, if we could arrive here this week by train, would we really have left the car at home? I'm really not sure about that. If I'm being honest, probably not. But what I do know is that this was an incredible railway to walk. And although the trains have been gone for more than 50 years, the spirit of this railway hasn't really disappeared at all. So thanks, John. Thanks for your company.
No worries.
Thanks to everyone who supports the channel, all channel members, anyone who buys me a coffee or sends me a super thanks, buys any merch, anything like that. We'll see you on another video soon. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.